Hey, Mike Filipov here from PracticeGuitarNow.com. In this video, I'll show you another guitar practice strategy that helps you to tighten up your two-hand synchronization and make your faster playing sound better and cleaner. Now, in the past, I made a video on this topic where I talked about practicing scales and scale sequences on a single string and picking every note 2 times. If you haven't seen that video yet, go and check it out right now. There's a link to it on the screen. But for right now, I'm going to show you another practice approach that helps you take this whole strategy to a different level and really make your two-hand synchronization improve faster. So what you're going to do is still practice scales and scale sequences on just one string at a time, but you're now going to alternate between playing fretted notes and open strings for every other note. Here's an example. Now, the specific notes you use or the scales you use are not important. You can use any scales you want. You can practice this on any string. But what is important is that you alternate between fretted notes and open strings for every other note. So if the first note was a fretted note, the next note has to be an open string. Then another fretted note that's in the scale, then another open string, fretted note, open string again, fretted note that's in the scale, open string, fretted note, open string, and on like that. So how does this kind of practicing improve your two-hand synchronization? Well, several different ways. First of all, two-hand synchronization is a byproduct of both hands hitting the note at the exact same time. If one hand is a little bit faster than the other, your hands are moving out of sync and your playing sounds sloppy. And this kind of practicing of alternating fretted notes with open strings makes it much harder for both of your hands to hit every note at the exact same time. And this happens for a few reasons. First of all, after playing an open string, your fretting hand fingers are a little bit further away from the fretboard than they would be if you were playing all fretted notes. So this means the next finger that has to play a fretted note has to move faster to overcome a greater distance and stay in sync with the picking hand. This is of course much more difficult to do than if you were playing all fretted notes, and that aspect makes it much harder to keep your two hands in sync. The second reason has to do with the amount of resistance the string exerts back onto your pick when you're playing every other note in this exercise. When you're playing an open string, the string exerts a little bit less pressure onto the pick because the string is a little bit looser when it's open, when it's not fretted. But when you are fretting a note, the string becomes a little bit tighter and a little bit more effort is required from the picking hand to produce a clear note. Now, this difference in the amount of resistance is really not a big deal, especially at slow tempos. You can hardly even notice it unless you really focus on this particular nuance of your technique. But the faster you attempt to play, the more these discrepancies in the amount of resistance your picking hand feels from every other note come into play, and that makes it much harder to keep your hands in sync as you begin to play these exercises near your maximum tempos. This also means that when you go back to your normal exercises where every single note is fretted, it's going to feel much easier to keep your hands in sync because the amount of resistance for your picking hand is going to be absolutely consistent for every single note. Another reason why this approach of alternating fretted notes and open strings helps your two-hand synchronization is that it trains your fretting hand fingers to move quickly for every single note regardless of the tempo. What I mean is, it doesn't matter if you're playing notes that sustain for a long time, or if you're playing very short notes that don't sustain for a long time. The fingers are supposed to move at the exact same speed. The only difference is the length of time that the note is sustained after it has been played, but not the speed at which your hands move to produce the note. This is a very important concept to understand, and it goes back to what I mentioned earlier, which is after you play an open string, your fingers are further away from the fretboard, and they have to move faster to overcome a greater distance to keep up with the picking hand and keep your playing in sync. So even when you're playing slowly, your fretting hand fingers learn to move quickly, and then the note itself, after it's played, can be sustained for as long as you want it to be sustained, but you're training the fundamental motions of the fretting hand fingers to move quickly to produce the note. That is what improves your two-hand synchronization. And as far as what exercises you should practice and really how you should apply this strategy into your guitar practice so you improve your technique and have lots of fun in the process, I have a whole article on my website about this that's totally free. Just click the link on the video screen right now to go and check it out. There's lots and lots of examples and exercises there for you to practice using tab and audio so you can really hear how everything must sound, how to do this correctly so you benefit from the strategy and have a lot of fun every step of the way. And if you're already on my website, that means you're already in the right place. Just keep reading. The article is right below this video. Have fun with these concepts and enjoy your guitar practice. And this leads to my next point, which is articles like the ones I write and videos that I release on my YouTube channel with guitar practice strategies are all great. They're all great tools for you to use to begin to optimize the effectiveness of your guitar practice and begin to improve faster. But ultimately, what you really need is not just a bunch of isolated tools that are all randomly scattered, all over the internet. You need a place that is a step-by-step path that takes you from where you are right now to where you want to go in terms of improving how you practice guitar, optimizing your efficiency, your effectiveness, your strategies, the way you think. Everything relating to practicing guitar needs to become crystal clear and integrated in your brain, in your mind, in your hands, so that every time you pick up the guitar, you know exactly what to do, how to do it, and why to do it to improve very, very quickly. And this is why I've created my Rapid Fire Guitar Practice Training course, to give you that crystal clear step-by-step path to follow to not just learn about what it means to practice guitar correctly, but actually go through that process with me guiding you along and holding your hand every step of the way to make sure you get to that result and that these strategies become really part of the way you think every time you practice your guitar. And that is what's going to help you speed up your progress towards becoming the guitar player you want to be. So check out that course right now. The link to it is on the screen. There's also a link to it at the bottom of my website if you're reading this on my website right now. And read everything about how the course works, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side and training you what it means to practice guitar like a master. Until next time, have fun practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.